Hey everybody, so I'm here because I, 25 female, need some advice on what to do regarding a situation with my sister-in-law, Jade. Let's call her that. Recently, she graduated from high school, and before she starts college in the fall, she went on a vacation with a few of her friends to celebrate their graduation. And at her graduation party earlier, she asked me to do her a favor, and I agreed because she and I had a good relationship before all of this happened. At her party, she had practically begged me to let her borrow my camera for the trip so they could all get good photos for their Instagram. I could understand why she wanted my camera. Good photos are important, after all, especially to our generation. But I was kind of skeptical and hesitant about it because my camera is pretty expensive. It was a birthday gift from my father because I'd always been quite interested in photography. But with school in college and then work and everything else, I was never really able to make time for it. So this was just one of my hobbies that faded away, but on my birthday, my dad told me that I could at least take it up again as a hobby, if nothing else. Because I'm doing well enough for myself now. I have a stable job, and so that gift really means a lot to me. Besides, even apart from all that, it was a pretty expensive gift. It was a beginner level, professional grade camera, and it cost my dad around $3,000. So that's a significant amount. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I was kind of hesitant to lend her the camera. But then she requested me so much that in the end I gave in. But I also told her that she had to take great care of it. And when she returned it to me, I wanted it to be in the same condition that I had given it to her. I thought that was simple enough, but a couple of days ago, when she finally returned from the trip, she visited me and returned the camera, and it was broken. I tried to work it, but I realized that it was not working properly, and the pictures were coming out weird and incorrect. That's when I started inspecting the camera and its body properly. And I noticed that it was chipped in a couple of places externally, so I made an educated guess and I asked Jade if she had dropped it somewhere. Because I've had experience with cameras, it seemed as if there was some internal damage which was causing the pictures to look weird. And I knew for a fact that she must have dropped it somewhere because otherwise this kind of thing wouldn't happen. But then she started denying it, and she said that one day when she was trying to take pictures, it just stopped working randomly and she didn't have anything to do with it. The way she got so defensive so quickly, that's what confirmed it for me. That she must have dropped it somewhere, and she was trying to avoid getting into trouble with me. I was actually quite disappointed because I thought that we had the kind of relationship where she could be honest with me, even if that meant telling the truth, in a situation which would cause trouble for her. Anyway, I pressed on and I asked her to tell me the truth, and she insisted that it had just stopped working randomly and she didn't have anything to do with it. And the more she said that, the more hurt I felt, because she actually thought that I was going to believe it, and she couldn't even be bothered to tell me the truth after damaging a gift. I think I would have forgiven her if she had told me the truth about the situation instead of lying to cover it up. But in the end, I was just disappointed because she kept insisting. And I knew that she was lying. So we ended up getting into an argument. I told her that I would talk to her parents about this. And she told me that I was free to do so. But she knew that she didn't break anything and she was not going to take the fall for it because I must have given her something faulty and I was trying to blame it on her to avoid taking accountability for any of this. After that, she just left a couple of hours later. She texted me and started telling me that she was sorry, I thought that now, finally, she was going to take accountability for what had happened and apologize, but instead, she just told me that she was sorry about the camera because it must be hard for me to accept that the gift my father had given me had just stopped working like that. And I was probably lashing out at her because I couldn't accept it. But at the end of the day, it was not her fault. And she was not going to take the fall for it. Then she sent me another text saying that she would be willing to replace it with a disposable camera because that was what she could afford on her pocket money. And since it meant so much to me, she was willing to do this for me. I couldn't believe the audacity she had to be saying all this because I knew for a fact that she was the one who had broken it. And I just couldn't accept this kind of behavior. So I spoke to my husband, and then I decided to call his parents. And I told them all about what had happened. And they were actually a lot more apologetic than their daughter. They told me that they could understand where I was coming from and why I was so upset. And they said that they would try to fix the situation to the best of their abilities. They apologized to me and told me that when I find out the cost of repairs, I'm supposed to send it to them and they'll take care of it. I already had a vague idea of how much it would cost, so I informed them about it, and that was that. But then, the next day, I received a very angry phone call from Jade, accusing me of getting her into trouble on purpose and even going to the extent of blaming me for her holiday plans being ruined. She was quite hysterical, and she was accusing me of being selfish, picking on her, and it took me a while to get to the problem. Basically, after my conversation with my in-laws, they had had a chat with Jade about what I had told them, and she had denied it, but I knew whatever I was talking about, and even my in-laws knew that I was not lying. So they told Jade that they were very disappointed in her, and they informed her that the cost of repairs would be deducted from her pocket money. And that's a huge problem for her because before college starts, she was planning on having a lot of fun going out with her friends. That kind of thing requires money. And if her parents decide not to give her anything until the amount that she owes me is cleared up, then that will be a huge problem for her. And she's blaming me for all of this. I don't know how to deal with any of this right now, and I actually feel kind of bad. AITA for getting my sister-in-law in trouble after she broke my camera and lied about it. Edit. Okay, so I guess I wasn't clear enough while explaining, so here's what's going to happen. My in-laws give Jade pocket money every 2 weeks, but now they're going to wait for the weeks to pass until the amount that she owes me has been covered, and only then will they resume giving her the money again. Now, this is a problem for Jade because she has obviously made a lot of plans and she needs money because this is the period in time between high school ending and before the beginning of college where kids are completely stress-free. So I can understand where this is coming from. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair for her to be blaming me. That's all. I hope that everything has been cleared up now. Update 1. Hi everybody. So thank you so much to everyone who commented on my post and who was kind enough to be supportive of me and let me know that I'm not the one at fault and I don't have to feel bad about what's happened. I've spoken to my husband also about all of this, and we have discussed this issue at length because honestly, the relationship with his family is not just important to him, but it's important to me too, because so far we've gotten along well, and this is the first time that we've hit a snag. I know that my in-laws don't have a problem with me right now, neither does my brother-in-law, my husband's younger brother, because even he's on our side here. But the fact that Jade is so against us at the moment is kind of off-putting. I mean, I'm trying hard not to care about it, but it's difficult. Because I know it's not like I'm not going to see her again. We definitely will see each other pretty soon. Because one of my husband's cousins is getting engaged and they're throwing a party, and the entire family is invited. So what then? It's going to be pretty awkward. And I don't want that. It'll be a different thing if she doesn't attend, but even then, I don't want her missing out on things like this, just because she's fighting with me. I don't understand why she can't just own up to what she did, because if she does, even right now, I'm willing to forgive her and let it all go, because I don't want to make things awkward. And after all, she's just a kid. Kids do stupid things all the time. I know I did. But what matters is that they own up to it. They acknowledge their mistakes. They try to be better in the future. That's all that actually counts. And if she genuinely tries to talk to me and make it up to me, then I'm more than willing to let it all go. But it's just that she has to take that step first. I can't forgive somebody who's not even sorry. I can understand that it's become a matter of pride and ego for her, but it's only hurting her right now. I just hope she realizes that soon, because I don't want the rest of the family to be upset with her over this. She's a sweet kid otherwise, and apart from this, in the 7 years that I've known her, we've never had any problems like the situation we are in right now. Anyway, that's enough about her. So I took the camera to the repair shop. They gave me a quotation for how much it'll take to fix things. They did mention that it would be cheaper to just replace the whole thing altogether. But it's important for me that it be repaired because it's a gift from my father and I really value it. I have not told my parents about any of this yet, and I'm hoping I won't have to, but yeah. I told my in-laws about how much it's going to cost, and it is kind of expensive, but once again, they were very nice about it. They told me they were going to send me the amount, and they did it as soon as possible. They even apologized to me for everything once again when I informed them, even though it's not their fault. So now, until that amount is paid off, Jade is not going to get any pocket money. And I've made it pretty clear. I do feel bad for her, so I did ask about how she's doing, because obviously it's not like I can speak to her. And her parents told me that she was doing fine, other than the fact that she was hardly speaking to anybody anymore. Anybody in the family, I mean, with her friends and everything, she was completely normal. They had even been coming over for a while, and probably because she wanted to save and she didn't want to spend the money, something that she would have to do if she went out with them. I'm pretty sure that she and her gang of friends hate me right now, but well, I can't help that. I just hope that she takes a lesson from this and doesn't lie about things in future from now on. Update 2. Okay, hey everyone, it's been 2 weeks since my last update, and today we attended my husband's cousin's engagement party. As I said, we put in my previous post. I was feeling kind of weird about it because I knew that Jade was going to be there. And when we showed up at the venue, obviously my husband and I made a beeline for his family after greeting the couple. Jade was with her parents, and as soon as she saw me, she made a face and she looked the other way. Everyone noticed that, and it was pretty awkward for me. But I didn't let it get me down, because after all, my in-laws were there. My brother-in-law and his wife were also there. And I knew that. Even if she didn't speak to me, it was fine, because the rest of the family was still being very polite and nice to me. Out of common courtesy, when I was greeting everyone, I did include Jade as well, but she didn't even acknowledge me. And that was the second snub after she looked away when I came by. But I was determined not to let that get me down, and I pretended to ignore it. However, my in-laws did not let it go, and they immediately picked up on it and told Jade that I had greeted her and she might not have heard it. They were pleasant enough about it, trying to give her the benefit of the doubt and acting as if she might not have heard what I said, even though I had been loud enough. Anyway, when they said that, Jade just turned to them and told them that she had heard, but she just chose not to respond. So then her dad got really irritated and told her that if she was going to act like this, then she had just better go home because this was a happy day for her cousin. And if she was going to stand around, make faces and be rude to people, then they would much rather have her stay at home because she was just embarrassing herself and them with her behavior. I was pretty shocked that my father-in-law had spoken to Jade that way because usually he's a pretty calm, collected guy. So I figured that things might be pretty bad at their house if even he had lost his cool at Jade. I tried to diffuse the situation because, of course, I felt kind of responsible for it. Even I gave her the benefit of the doubt, even though I knew for a fact that she had definitely heard me. And I said that she was upset, so we could just let it go. We didn't need to fight about this right now. We could discuss it later because that's what I thought would be more appropriate, as opposed to creating a scene at somebody else's engagement party. That would have been the mature thing to do in a situation like that, and everybody else agreed. But Jade snapped at me and told me that I knew exactly what I had been doing and said that I should be happy because I got exactly what I wanted. She was in a bunch of trouble. She couldn't have fun and go out because she had to save until she started getting her pocket money again, and it was all my fault. And she said that I need not try and make myself look innocent by trying to be nice to her because she knew exactly what I was trying to do. And she was not having it. And her tone was very sharp, so people who were standing around started looking, and it was pretty embarrassing. I didn't say anything, I just walked away to put some distance between me and her, because I was really annoyed since I was trying to be nice to her. I was trying to be the bigger person even though I shouldn't have had to. And here she was, giving me an attitude. Anyway, my husband came after me, and for the rest of the duration of the evening, we hardly even looked at or spoke to Jade. After a couple of minutes, I went back to the rest of the family. We talked and pretended that this whole thing with Jade had not even happened. We ignored her, and I know it's probably not the right way to deal with an angry teenager, but I don't know what else I could have done in that situation. If this were any other place, I guess I would have tried to talk things out or at least give it back to her. But we were at somebody's engagement party, and I didn't want to ruin that. So when I saw that everybody had started to pretend that the conversation had never taken place and was ignoring Jade, I followed suit. For her part, she didn't say anything to any of us for the rest of the evening either. So that was good enough, I guess. Update 3. Hey, so it's been a week since the engagement party, and the good news is that my camera has been repaired and it's as good as new again. I'm really happy because, like I said, it was a very special gift and I really cherish it. The bad news is that when I called up my in-laws to inform them about it and thank them, they sounded very worried. And when I asked them what was going on, they told me that Jade was giving them a lot of trouble. And I actually feel so bad for them because I feel like I'm the root cause of all this. I know that I'm not. And I know that it's irrational for me to be blaming myself, but I can't help it. I just keep thinking that maybe if I hadn't even complained about any of this and had just let it slide, then maybe none of this would be happening. Basically, ever since the day of the party, Jade has been fighting with them every single day and has been accusing them of favoring me more than her, in spite of the fact that I'm just her daughter-in-law, whereas she is their daughter. She doesn't seem to understand that this is not about the relationship that I have with my in-laws, but it's just about what's wrong and what's right. If she were right in the situation, then nobody would be holding that against her. People would tell me to apologize, and I definitely would. But here, she's wrong, and she needs to realize that. She's been very upset about the incident at the party, about how her dad snapped at her just to defend me, and has told her parents that she doesn't even want to talk to them because clearly she's not a priority for them. She's trying to emotionally manipulate them, but my in-laws will not be swayed, and I know that for a fact because they're both very upright, and that's how both my husband and his brother have been brought up. What's wrong is wrong, and what's right is right. There are no arguments. Unfortunately, because Jade is the youngest, she's always been a bit spoiled. But I never thought that things would go to this extent. I have offered to speak to Jade and try to sort things out so that maybe we can put an end to all of this. But my in-laws said that they don't think it's a good idea right now, especially because she's had a temper throughout the whole week, and they think that me trying to speak to her just might make things even worse. And I kind of agree with them. I just don't know what to do. I feel bad about what's going on. My husband has told me that I don't need to feel bad. It's not my fault. But even then, I just can't help it. Anyway, for now, I'm just going to stay away from the whole thing. And I'm going to hope for the best. I don't know if I can do anything to make the situation better. But if there is anything, then let me know. I've also said the same thing to my in-laws, that if they think at any point in time I can do anything to help them out in this situation, then they should just let me know. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I feel like it was just a petty little thing that has blown out of proportion, and I feel really bad about it. So I don't know if she's going to respond to me well, or if she's even going to talk to me, but I feel like it's all worth a try. So yes, that's where it's at. If you guys have any advice for me, any tips on how to deal with the situation, let me know. Thank you so much for reading. Update 4. Hey, so it's been a couple of weeks since my last update, and like I said, I have been steering clear of Jade for the last couple of weeks because I don't think that she wants to talk to me. Given the situation, I don't want to talk to her either and make it worse. I have been over to my in-laws' place twice in the past few weeks for dinner, but Jade has never been around at those times. Usually, whenever I have dinner with my husband's family, it is always me and my husband, my brother-in-law and his wife, and of course, my in-laws and Jade. And we all have a wonderful time together. We watch a movie, we drink wine, but not Jade. We play games, and it's just generally fun. This is the sort of fun that I don't really get to have with my own family, although I love them a lot. But the thing is, I don't have a huge family. I'm a single child, so dinner with my parents is always a quiet and peaceful thing, which has its own advantages, but this is also fun. So these dinners have always meant a lot to me, and they've always made me feel like I'm part of the family, so I've always appreciated it. But the past 2 times it's been very weird because Jade has not been around. And even though we have not acknowledged it, it's not like we can ignore it. Because she has come down to the living room to maybe get food or water or whatever, and she has ignored us both times and walked away without a word, so it's not like we can pretend that she's not there. After all, like I said, she's a child. So it's pretty weird to treat her like that. But then there's nothing that we can do right now. Her parents have tried to talk to her many times, but she has shut down the conversation and has made it very clear that she doesn't want to discuss it. Forcing it is just going to make things about us. So we are all at a loss at what to do. If I'm being honest, I'm just hoping that all of this blows over by the time she starts college in a couple of weeks. Because if she's still upset with everyone by the time she leaves for college, it'll leave a bitter taste in everyone's mouths, and I don't want that. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed and hoping for the best now. Update 5. So it's been a couple of weeks since my last update and nothing has changed significantly, so I don't have any posts to make. But now I think there's a lot that I can talk about. First things first, I would just like to take this opportunity to inform people that I'm pregnant. I guess I'm lucky that I decided not to drink wine in the past couple of weeks because I had been feeling very bloated and I thought I had indigestion, so I was eating light and avoiding drinks and caffeine, hoping that it would get better. And when it didn't, it struck me that I was late. So I decided to take a test, and that's how I found out. And I've never been happier, honestly. My husband and I were planning on starting to try for a baby anyway, but we are lucky that it happened organically. We've been together for 7 years, married for 2, so I think it's absolutely the right time. And I'm very happy about this. The second thing that I'm also happy about is the fact that the situation with Jade has started to improve. I wouldn't say that we're all there yet, but it's definitely an improvement from how it was before. So a couple of days ago, when I found out I was pregnant, we obviously told our families. My parents were overjoyed, and so were my in-laws. And because they were so loud about it, while we were on a FaceTime call with my in-laws, Jade came out of her room to find out what all the screaming and shouting was about. And that's how she found out that I was pregnant. I was kind of skeptical about her reaction, and I was scared that she was going to ruin it by being mean, but instead she actually started smiling and then congratulated me, and that was a bit of a surprise. I thought that she was going to be a teenager about it, but she was pretty nice. And we even had a short conversation about how I found out and how I was feeling, so that was definitely a pleasant surprise. Later on, the next day, she sent me a message saying that she was really sorry about how she had behaved all this time. And in that message, she finally acknowledged and accepted her mistake and said that it was actually she who had broken the camera. But she knew how expensive it was, and she thought that if she told me the truth about what had happened, I would be very upset with her. And even the money had become a factor, but she knew that her parents might not be happy, but eventually they would be the ones to reimburse me, and she didn't want it to become a big deal. But she didn't realize that lying about it was going to make it an even bigger deal, and she just made a bad call. And then, in order to cover it up, she started making one bad decision after the other, which is how she ended up here. But now she's willing to make things better because in a couple of days she's going to leave for college anyway. And she doesn't want to leave the situation on a bad note. So she said that she would love for me to come over for dinner. She's also trying to make things right with her parents because she has been misbehaving with them as well, and she feels bad about it. After reading that message, I decided to give her a chance because after all, like I said, she's a kid. So I did go over for dinner and we all had a nice time, and even though things were a bit awkward, we tried our best to smooth things over. I just hope that with time we're able to forget this and move on, and I'm also glad that she finally accepted and acknowledged her mistake and took accountability and tried to be better. Because that's what families do. We forgive and we encourage people to do better in the future. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.